Ever dreamed of an engine that's got power, reliability, and won't leave your wallet crying? Sounds like a unicorn, right? Well, let me introduce you to the real deal, the BMW B58. This inline-six turbocharged beast has built a reputation as one of the best modern engines, and today we're breaking down exactly why it deserves the hype. The B58 first hit the streets in 2015 and found its way into a variety of BMW models ranging from the M140i all the way to the 440i and even the X3. This engine is an inline-six with a twin-scroll turbo, meaning you get that smooth power delivery that BMW is famous for. From the factory, the B58 pumps out anywhere between 320 to 380 horsepower, with torque figures ranging from 332 to 369. But let's be real, BMW has a history of sandbagging their numbers. Independent dyno tests show that this thing actually cranks out closer to 400 horsepower at the crank. And when you factor in drivetrain loss, this engine is even more impressive than BMW wants you to believe. Now, BMW has made some legendary inline sixes in the past, but what sets the B58 apart is the modular design. Around 40% of its components are interchangeable with other engines in the BMW's B series lineup, like the B48. This means parts are more widely available and often cheaper, which is a win for us enthusiasts. Unlike the N54 and N55, where replacing faulty fuel injectors could cost thousands, the B58 is built with affordability in mind, at least as far as BMW goes. And let's talk about tuning potential, because this is where things get wild. The stock power numbers, just the tip of the iceberg. With basic bolt-ons like an intake, tune, exhaust, and downpipes, you can push this engine to 500 horsepower without breaking a sweat. Plenty of people even hit 700 horsepower on stock internals, and that's where things get really interesting. The reason the B58 can handle so much abuse comes down to its rock-solid bottom end. BMW reinforced it with a crank girdle, similar to the legendary 2JZ, to improve strength and durability. And speaking of the 2JZ, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Toyota GR Supra. When Toyota announced that their brand new sports car was packing a BMW engine, the internet had a field day. "Nice BMW, bro" became the default response to anybody flexing their new Supra. It was controversial, it was clowned on, and people were skeptical. But fast forward a few years and guess what? The GR Supra is now one of the most beloved sport cars on the market. And for a huge reason for that is the B58. The engine has aged like fine wine, proving itself to be powerful and reliable. Something Toyota clearly saw coming when they decided to slap their badge on it. Beyond just raw power, BMW engineered the B58 with some clever tricks. It has a water-to-air intercooler integrated into the intake manifold for better cooling, and oil squirters under the pistons to reduce heat and wear. The engine block itself is made from lightweight aluminum, helping BMW maintain that near-perfect 50-50 weight distribution in their cars. Pair that with the ZF 8-speed transmission and you've got an absolute monster of a drivetrain. The shifts are smooth when you want them to be and aggressive when you put your foot down. Whether you're cruising or gunning it, the B58 delivers power in a way that just feels right. Now let's talk about reliability. BMW has had its fair share of reliability nightmares, but the B58 it's a different story. This engine has made Ward's top 10 engines list 4 times, something that's not easy to do. Overall, owners have had very few complaints, but if we're nitpicking, there's one common issue: the PCV valve. The PCV valve helps control emissions by redirecting crankcase vapors back into the intake for combustion. The problem? The diaphragm inside can fail, leading to excessive oil consumption, and a lovely smoke show from your exhaust will start to show. Fortunately, it's an easy and relatively cheap fix compared to some of BMW's past disasters. Another minor weak spot? The charge pipe. While it's not as notorious as the previous BMW generations, it's still a good idea to upgrade if you're planning to push serious boost. And speaking of boost, let's dive into tuning stages. Stage 1 is a simple ECU tune that bumps the B58 to around 400 to 450 horsepower with no additional mods. It's a safe and effective way to wake up the engine without putting extra stress on components. Stage 2 includes bolt-ons like a high-flow downpipe, intake, and intercooler upgrade. At this point, you're looking at around 500 to 550 horsepower, And once you get to that point, the car really starts to come alive. Then there's stage 3. That's when things get really spicy. A bigger turbo, fueling upgrades, and a more aggressive tune can push the B58 into the 600 to 700 horsepower range. And we've seen some builds making even more. At this level, you're basically running a supercar killer with the right setup. Real world driving impressions, the BMW B58 feels like it was built for everyday fun. In comfort mode, it's smooth and refined. Switch to Sport Plus, and you get instant throttle response, an addictive exhaust note, and enough power to make you question why you'd ever need more. Whether you're daily driving or hitting the track, this engine delivers on all fronts. At the end of the day, the B58 is a masterpiece of modern engineering. It's smooth, powerful, reliable, and ridiculously tunable. Whether it's in a BMW or the GR Supra, this engine has cemented itself as one of the greats. So if you're looking for an engine that does it all without giving you constant headaches, the B58 is as good as it gets. So you made it to the end. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you soon.